So we are now recording the January 4th, 2019 Small Business Accounting Advisors. First recording of the new year. Happy New Year's, everyone.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year. Brutal week this week. It feels like a whole month long, and the week and the month is only 4 days old.
Oh, that's because this is the time when every client shows up.
And Linda, you got to talk to every client yesterday.
Kind of like the gyms.
I think I did, yeah.
I had one that was at the CPA's office. He's like, I'm at the CPA, and I'm like, we didn't even talk. We haven't even reconciled.
We love that. I hope everything is there. And I hate when people give reports before I've done a reconciliation, and there's no way you could have done one by now.
No.
You gotta tell these guys not to rush because they're not going to get their checks until after the shut down.
Why? Because the government shut down, Dennis.
Well,
yeah, we're going to milk that as long as we can.
In a way, it's kind of good for my clients because I don't think the collections is operating right now, but I know that they've shut off their fax machine, so I can't fax POAs in.
I didn't want to come back to 4 feet of paper on the floor.
Well, they're going to. I mean, I have to, yeah.
They'll use it to suck up the human waste at the parks.
Yeah.
Are they the only person that still uses a fax?
Pardon? Are they the only?
I think so.
It's an e-fax. I mean.
Yeah, still.
Is it an e-fax?
Yeah, they have an e-fax on their desks, and so that's what I send e-faxes to them.
Yeah.
And I guess they're not answering their phone according to one client. You're getting a recorded message saying that they hope to be back soon or whatever. But I heard today Trump was talking about keeping it shut down for a year or so. So that'll
be. Oh yeah, both he and Nancy are talking about we can wait each other out. Meanwhile, the rest of the people are being held hostage. And the poor folks that depend on a paycheck, their mortgage bills do not stop.
They don't care. It's his ego. It's all ego.
Yep.
Ego. Oh boy. Yeah, January's off at a good start.
4 days old. 4 days old.
November and December. Well, actually, the last 4 or 5 months of the year, I didn't have any, special projects in new work or anything. Did a couple of proposals, did that. And then boom, we signed your proposal from September 30th.
That's awful.
On January 4th. Full migration for a huge manufacturing company.
Manufacturing, no less.
Manufacturing.
We're talking inventory. We're talking
wow.
Parts and partial.
A new data file.
And
a new data file.
Yeah, I think that would be the easiest, and then just import everything in.
Well, no, that's what they want me to do, but just.
I know a really good application that can help you get the trial balances out of the file. And then you could use this other one that would help you get new transactions in too.
And and didn't you just do an update on that?
We're working on it. We've got the version 7. We have the new interface. And see, I want people to see. I think it's real simple. You've never had to read the book. Type simple. When you open a program and you can read the screen, fill it out, and know what you're going to get. But after years of getting support calls and people go left instead of right, and you go, what? I rearranged the screen and added some help, little hover thingies, and just put everything right on the one screen and lead them 1, 2, 3, 4, all the way down to when they export without them really having to go to a manual or call. So I've done all that. I've added more information on the face. As soon as you connect with QuickBooks, it tells you the company name you connected with, what the fiscal year is, and if it's defaulting to cash or accrual. Boom, right in your face. So
nice.
And so anyway, and it looks good. Changed,
And I like your little question marks on your new screen.
Yeah. I you know, I'm so visual. I don't know why I just like obsessed with these stupid little things, you know, like
but they're really important if you're going through it.
Well,
and it could answer questions to prevent the support call.
Right. So I was looking for little icons like an eye for information or a question mark or something.
And I've seen that a lot.
But they were like bright blue. But so when I looked at my program, I didn't want their eyes to go to only see these blue dots all over. I wanted something more subtle so that they're seeing
color coded with your green.
And yeah, so it's a green and anyway. So I don't know why my mind goes there, but.
Can't you change the color? I mean.
Well, yeah, but I had to find one. No, I'm sure there's a way to change the color, but anyway, I found a question mark, so it's looking good. And then, all right, so other than interface, what's new is an IIF export. Because currently I can do it in Excel, but you'd have to have like TPI or something to bring it back into desktop or even go on to QBO.
But now 19 has the IIF import, so therefore, wow.
Exactly.
Smart.
The only thing I'm worried about, and I have to research, is if you stack 12 trial balances, split up by class name for a large company with a lot of classes, how long is that puppy? I wonder if there's a limitation. Because I've bumped into clients with class code lists that would blow your mind.
Might be a memory limitation.
I know. So that's the only thing I'm really worried about. Configuring it we already have put all 12 months in one column. All we had to do is add the IF headers and all that. So that was pretty easy. But when I start testing, I need to find some big data files to test. I know what. I might not get more than 7.
Isn't there limits on targets?
I think that's QBO, isn't it? Or is it?
Yeah, but I don't know. When you import a journal entry, how many can it have? 5,000 rows?
Well,
I don't know.
And how can you break up that journal entry if there is a limit?
I know.
Keep in mind, like when you do your normal imports, right? You can import a whole bunch of different things all at the exact same time. So from the aspect if you're importing your chart accounts, your vendors, your customers, all as one file, that's going to be that much larger that, if you're only using it for one thing, it could be larger like that.
Yeah. Good point.
There's also a tool you can download, I think, to help make an IIF the correct format to where you could test it.
Well, we're going to make the IIF. I just have to start testing it into empty QuickBooks files. If it crashes, it crashes.
Let's help each other on that. I
was
can try
curious
too.
if anybody knew if there was a limitation, because I know Excel will go to how many rows? Isn't there a limitation on an Excel file?
A lot.
Like 1 million. They bumped up to like 1 million, I thought.
Oh, really?
I don't think you're going to hit that, Sarah. And Matt, I think, is the king of lassoing and corralling data. So if you want large data files, he's the man.
I've probably got a couple.
The other thing that I don't think is going to get in, well, I had like a 7A and a 7B for Ernest. What can you get out really quickly? And here's what I'd really want, So, one of them is, get this. So we use the SDK, which is what's that stand for?
Development kit.
Development kit. Okay, the Intuit. So we're up to like version 10 or something. And when Intuit sold the code to the company in Australia, and they call it Reckon. It's desktop. It's QuickBooks Desktop, but they renamed it Reckon. Okay, so it stopped at like SDK. It's like the point that they got that data or the code. So it's like 6 or something crazy. Okay. So the other experiment is try to roll our program back to 6 and see if it still works. If it still works. Because there's a lot of things that were added in the SDK after that that we don't even use. So if it will work with 6, now I've got a whole new market.
Oh, okay. Interesting. So I actually have just been downloading Trial Balance Explorer right now, and you're on QBFC 10.
10.
I think they're actually up to 13 now.
But 10 should work. 10 should work if you have 13 on your machine.
It's, I'll bug you about this later because I think we'll like geek everybody out about it too much. Yeah. But what the key thing is, it help you do some testing too. Like it's the hardest thing is getting people to do testing, right? And like, well,
I'm limited in what I can test. I mean, I've got some virtual machines. I got Windows 10 over here, Windows 7 over here. I've got every version of QuickBooks, but to try to bump into every kind of environment that end user is going to bump into, especially the ones that want to go on a server. Oh, I hear you. And
it's a Penny.
Yes, Penny. She's had a very sick day.
Aww.
Which means I should, if she wants to go out, I better let her out now.
Okay.
Anyway, that's where we are. I can show you a screenshot later of the new screen.
Go take care of your business. Go take care of Penny.
The joys of software development.
Honestly. So what did we want to talk about? We briefly talked about the government shutdown. Mostly everything we were going to talk about was Sarah's TBX ebook, first blog.
Linda, you had a chance to meet with a fellow accountant this week, right? Who was that again?
Brian Gannon.
Huh?
Brian Gannon. He's in our group.
I didn't even know about that one.
Oh, who did I meet with besides him?
Kelly or
who? Oh, you mean Kelly Parks? She's a bookkeeper. She's in the cool kids club like you and I.
Got it.
All the accountants want to be us, you know. They want that income that goes all year instead of that income that goes. No, I actually met with Brian Gannon just before I got on here, and we're going to have a 15-minute call. It lasted an hour. He's in Tampa. He's new. He's in our group. He's in the 97 and up group, and he's CPA. And I try to get relationships with CPAs that I like, and he's really into helping. He's a tax, he helps people with their taxes, but also helps them with like getting their business the best advantages. And I really am interested in that. And he's a new business. He used to be, and he worked at the corporate level, and he just branched out on his own about 6 months ago.
Cool.
So he's new. And it was really great conversation because he's right here in Florida. Not that that matters because I don't have a lot of clients here, but and he's starting his business. So a lot of the conversation we had was over what he should be doing marketing and getting himself out there. You know, and I told him to join our group.
Oh, good. I hope he does.
Yeah.
So you are actually into connecting live with people. Is that one of your things this year? I know Matt talked about that a lot. I like it. I'm trying to do that, but do it more on a personal level also. There are people that I haven't seen because I tend to work too much.
That's a thing.
Right. But you know what? Along with Seth's idea, I will just have to put it into my schedule. If I want to do it, I need to set a day aside, I'm going to say a day a month to connect with somebody that I haven't seen in a really long time.
Do you know how disappointed I was that you didn't go to QB Connect this year?
Oh.
I wanted to meet you.
Yeah, I'll be there. Well, I'll have to see what I'm doing next year.
Well,
but I will be at something. I'm not
sure
sure which.
Brian, I said, you got to go. I know it's expensive when you're first starting out. But
I also like the Scaling New Heights. I like Joe Woodard. Yeah. So it'll be a choice between those two. I'm thinking Salt Lake might be where I'm going this year.
I know. That sounds like a nice place.
Never There's been. A slight possibility. So Taryn, if you're watching this, Taryn with Notify reached out asking if I would be interested to speak at Scaling New Heights for them.
Nice.
So waiting to get some more details onto it, but that would be really, really cool. It'd be my first opportunity to do like a speaking engagement at one of these shows.
Which reminds me, I need to submit my call to papers.
You what?
They call it call to papers when you want to speak at scaling. You fill out the Word document. Did they give you one of those?
No.
Taryn's probably doing that piece.
But it's good to know. Like, I need to know that, and for QuickBooks Connect, because I want to.
It's probably the same.
Put it out there, you know.
They have a process. Ask Mariette; she'll know.
Yeah.
But I know now
because similar to Accountex, it was what's your title? What are you trying to do? How does it relate to our theme? You know, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Didn't they also say that, like, I forgot who said it, that you put a lot of work into what you want for QuickBooks Connect to talk about, and then they take it and they say, yes, you can, and then they change the name of it and change the you. I heard. I don't know. All I know is you're going to cost me like $725, so there's no way I'm missing seeing you speak. And I have to do the Mevo, so I think you should pay me to do the Mevo. But I can't not go.
What would you like to speak on?
Well, so for that specific one, it would obviously be focused more towards Notify and construction and job costing, I believe is what they're looking for, but I need to find out the true details of it all. Linda, we were just talking about, last night, wasn't it last night? Different ideas. I came to the realization I need to lock down one primary concept or something I like to share knowledge on and build out the presentation for it, and I need to have it ready, have it solid, so I can present and promote that concept when I get the chances for stuff like QB Connect.
Right. Right.
I think CData, what you were doing last night was like,
I wanted to do that.
I mean, and I didn't understand half of it, but it was like after 11-ish.
I know.
You guys are still up after 11.
Well, don't forget, it's not 11 where he is.
Right. Now I
going into bed with my
understand.
brain on
11 where we are.
It's 11 where you are.
The funny thing is she loves to use that direction, but then she loves at the same time when it's 7 a.m. for her, she's like, why aren't you awake yet? Like, what's going on here? I'm like,
good morning at 5:30. I'm like, oh crap, did I wake you?
Hi, Linda. Hi, Brandon. You found us.
Happy birthday.
It took me a little bit. How are y'all?
Good.
Brandon's not driving.
I will be in a minute.
The wall's not moving behind you.
It looks like you're back in your office.
Yeah, for a little bit. I'll be leaving in a minute.
did you guys know that Zoom has on the phone a like safe driving mode?
Oh, really?
Like when you're in a meeting, it gives
Brandon,
you like the
you
ability
should
to
take
slide
note of this.
forth, and it's a push to talk or something like that.
Being safe is boring.
It's an expensive ticket in Georgia now if you take your phone.
That's why I got a magnet so I could put it on the dashboard, so now I don't have to hold it.
Oh, yeah, I've got a dash clip for it, so.
Yeah.
I don't know, when you were running that thing when I came to California, that was a little scary on the highway in California, and we're flying and we're stopping, and he's holding the phone up, and I'm like, oh my God. And Mariette's over there going on Facebook Live going, Matthew, you're not driving, are you?
No. Not me.
No.
Like you said, Matthew's a brat, right? So.
Well, I said it, but I wasn't there, and then nobody agreed. I'm like, this is a bad crowd. Janice to say you were a brat.
Well,
Yeah. Linda, did you do something fun for your birthday?
on New Year's,
I love her
This
dog.
week's a
No,
blur.
remember, it
Isn't
was
it?
obviously very fun.
with my daughter on New Year's Day to celebrate my birthday. I had a bite to eat from Panda Express, and we went to a movie.
What'd you see? What'd you see?
Wreck-It Ralph.
I love it.
I heard you wrecked the internet.
And that was halfway in between where she and I were. That was at a time that jived. 'Cause
Yeah.
always
And that
wanted
was,
to do a lot of other things, and so it's like, and it's in a mall, okay?
Do you have big padded seats with the recliner?
No,
Really?
this one didn't have that, but we've been to a lot of those where she reserved. I don't know. It wasn't a recliner. That I didn't even notice that until you just asked. But we've had a lot of those, which are very nice.
We went to one right before New Year's that had assigned seats. I'd never seen that before.
Oh, yeah, we have that.
wow.
Where we were. That's common out here now.
Because you can get them online and just come up at the last second and still have a good seat.
Yes.
That's cool.
Exactly right. I usually buy mine on Fandango. As a matter of fact, I'm going to have to double check because I paid for the tickets the other day, and for one senior and one regular, it was like $28 at the theater. And it was like
You get popcorn, it'd be 100.
I know. When we were getting the tickets, so we walk up to the little kiosk, and he's like, wow, you get to pick your seat. Okay, you pick your seat and everything. And then it says adult or senior or child. I said, is there a definition of senior? We're looking at everywhere because, hey, I'm a senior and some.
A senior can be, someone as young as 50
up in
years old.
some, and I'm, pushing 60. So anyway, I'm like,
it's 50, sometimes it's 55, sometimes it's 60 or
so
60.
he checked senior.
It's age discrimination if they
Well,
don't.
didn't click our picture and then yell at us or anything. So now I wondered when we walked up to the little kid, taking the pictures, he sort of went, and then
I think that kind of works that if anybody's willing to actually put themselves into the category of senior, they'll give you the discount because we're all trying to fight the other way, right?
Man, I'm claiming it. But how on earth do these people date?
I don't.
I can imagine, high school or college kids trying to go out on a date, and this thing was like, the door's open, honey, just grow it some. My dog.
Our theater down here, we have there's one of them you have to get your seats like that, but there's tables, they bring you wine or beer or alcohol. It's pretty nice.
Well, that's because they're competing with Netflix and stuff. Why get out in the car in the cold when you can pull down on your TV? So they got to do something to get us in there.
Yeah, it's called Tavern Theater around here. You get even a meal if you'd like.
Well, we only have one of the IMAXs, so we, like The Hobbit, anything like that has really cool graphics and stuff, we wait and do IMAX. But a regular movie, so what did we see? Mary Poppins or something.
I saw the Queen movie. It was really good. Bohemian Rhapsody was excellent.
Oh, I want to see that.
Bring a box of Queen.
That's from my generation.
Yeah, it was great. It was really good.
Awesome.
Hey, Linda, QBQ, next time I head out to Riverside, I want to set up a time so I can come say hi to you because you're pretty close in that area.
Do that. I was going to say, my dog can meet your dog.
Yeah.
There you go.
Done. I would guess the absolute latest it would be March, but I'm expecting sooner. So I'll connect with you ahead of time, of course.
Okay, that's fine. A lot of times it's easy to arrange.
Yeah.
I actually had a different problem with that client data file. I read what the client sent me.
Hey, is that Brandon?
Oh my God.
It's an emergency. It's a real live accounting emergency.
Poor Brandon. Is it a tornado? Oh, okay. He's like, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
I think he's okay. Don't look at him. So, okay, data file, what?
Okay, refresh our memory, Linda.
I beg your pardon?
Refresh our memory, the data file. Which data file are we talking about?
And the one I talked about last week where the guy said he could not download from American Express.
Right.
Well, that wasn't what he meant.
I'm sorry to laugh. I am so sorry to laugh. But you know what? That's what I find every single time.
The transactions from American Express to QuickBooks. And I did not ask him what he meant by that. I assumed he knew what he was saying. And I spent a lot of time, went to QBox and went back to the earliest one we had, but November 1st. Rolled back to that, wrote everything down, came up to the one the Friday before, everything's fine. Then I said, you know, that's weird. There's no problem there. So let me go look. So I go into the bank feed center and all the transactions are there.
He just hasn't matched, he hasn't said okay.
Well, but see, that's what he didn't tell me. He downloaded the transactions fine, but when it goes to enter them, it won't enter them. And I'll show you and I called QuickBooks yesterday. I just opened it up. Now, it was really interesting. I called QuickBooks yesterday, desktop, and the lady acted like she's never seen this and she has no idea. And I'll call her back before 6 tonight because she's working.
Because she hasn't.
Yeah.
Neither have we. What are you talking about? Okay.
She was going to try to find in articles because she's never seen this. Now let me.
Wait, Linda, before you share, don't share data files, please.
Oh.
Yeah, no, we're recording this. And I don't want
off recording. I'm sorry. I had asked if we were recording. I didn't hear the answer.
Okay.
Okay.
Can you explain to us what, okay, so it's in the, you know, where you click on either match or add. What's it do?
He downloaded like 84 transactions.
Okay.
3 of them, QuickBooks matched by rules.
Okay.
So if you go into that tab and then at the bottom where it says batch actions, and you say add or whatever,
does the blue
nothing. It says that it's not the right account or something. You get an odd, and she took a picture of the screen. She did a screenshot of it. But it's interesting because now Intuit they don't use 123 Rescue anymore. They use a special proprietary software called Glance.
Yeah.
Glance.
Okay.
And it turns out that Glance has a conflict with Windows 7 Professional, whatever the latest update was.
No.
I had to connect, I had to reboot my computer. When I rebooted my computer, it said we are moving to Windows Basic mode. It made my background all black with the little...
like you were in safe mode.
Yeah.
That was like a safe mode. And then the Glance person she was able to come on and see it. At the end, when we disconnected from Glance, I didn't have to reboot it automatically.
That's good.
Reset.
That's good. Well, we spent so much time fighting technology to even get to the real problem. We haven't even gotten to the problem yet. Yesterday when a client called and she had changed her password on her computer. So my Share Connect is like, instruct her to change your password, but I can't see her screen. She's bumbling around. I'm like,
that's tough. That's tough.
So I had to do a Zoom to look at the Share Connect.
I'll contact her. We have a case number and everything.
I'd like to know the end of that story.
So I think he may have to reconnect. And I was thinking I could get some ideas from you. I was thinking of that idea of that you might rename it, or you create another one and then you merge together or something. But you would then merge the old one into the new one because you would have reconnected the new one.
If there's no duplicates, yeah.
I definitely would love to take a look at it. This is absolutely like bank feed is my area. So we'll take a look at it off video, and it's possible this would be a harder one, but it's possible that the file that was coded from Amex, if somehow the coding for checking versus credit card somehow got confused, you would think it wouldn't actually import part of it. And then there's also the unique transaction ID numbers, which could be part of it. But again, they shouldn't actually even be showing in the bank feed area at that point.
No, credit
So
card. He never has linked his bank feed. Never.
When you import, it thinks it thinks it's the same thing when you do an import.
Yeah.
Well, it's in the bank feed center. The
Yeah,
American
that's
Express credit card. Well,
yeah.
how do you usually bring credit cards in?
So actually, what's weird is everything there could be perfectly fine. It could be a glitch on the Amex side of it. Like especially I think Amex has been doing updates to their portal. That's the thing about software development. You make a minor little change and it changes a lot sometimes. Because we've gotten bad QBO files from different banks, like directly from the bank, that wouldn't be recognized, and it's thrown for quite a few.
I got to answer my cleaning ladies.
So.
Go ahead and mute her.
I had a client today who is a past client and not really one I work with, and she was struggling it was 86 days. She'd been talking back and forth with support because she couldn't get her Wells Fargo bank account to talk to QuickBooks Online, and she was too afraid to download the file. And she'd been back and forth, and they said they were working on it. They were going to help her. I logged in. I saw that the savings account was connected. The bank account was not connected, so I disconnected the savings account, reconnected Wells Fargo. All the transactions came in, and it was fixed. And she'd been on with QuickBooks support many times. And
I have to bite the bullet and do that too. I have a client with the Wells Fargo account. They did something to change things. Wells Fargo traditionally was one that always
one of the easier ones.
It was one of the ones that, yay, they got Wells Fargo, it'll work. But they did something, they changed something at the bank, and they were offline for about 2 weeks. Then they came back and it started working. Well, now it's not working again for me. And it's asking me for, it says that it's a 2-step authentication.
Yep, I had that today too. But it worked.
But I am only on the account as an accountant.
Yeah.
So they have, all they have is my name and email, and I don't get anything sent.
You have to do it on Zoom with the client. But I mean, I can't believe she spent much time. I said, why didn't you call me? And she's like, you just fixed that. I said, I know. And she's been like, she said, you fixed that literally in like 2 minutes. And I said, yep. And
I love it when you're a hero like that.
Well, and then she's like, oh my God, what do I owe you? And I said, a Google review.
Exactly.
I mean, what else? Tell your friends.
Oh, I just got a notification that Expensify changed their interface with Bank of America. It's supposed to be a lot more solid, and that it's just going to stop working like in 2 weeks or something. I need to go see what that's about. Because,
this goes back to that whole thing with APIs that I accidentally started to rant on 2 weeks ago. So I'll be very careful not to rant here. You're seeing a lot of these bigger banks. They're starting to make the changes. Like Chase is a good example that you can now log in and you can see an area where it says apps connected to your account. So they're offering APIs to developers.
Yeah.
And you're gonna keep seeing one after another, especially in QuickBooks Online, that'll have these challenges. So the silver lining is when these things happen, that they're working on that new API connection, and it's going to be rocky. But after that, it's going to be pretty solid.
That's what I'm thinking. Now, if we could just get
I can't wait. 200 transactions later hurts.
Yeah.
Well, and the alternative is before we had bank freeze, we keyed them all in.
That's what the solution may,
But we don't want to do that anymore.
No, the solution, if you have those challenges, if you go and theoretically, can you go to the bank and download it, but the file doesn't
file?
Right.
That's what I've been doing with Wells Fargo at this point, going directly to the bank account, downloading and uploading.
Yeah.
If you ever have one where the QBO file won't import, it's a great time, literally just run it through vendor sync, pull it in, stick it back out, and it'll clean it up. You can assign an Intuit ID number to it.
That's interesting.
when a while back when they were having these problems, and literally it was the files coming from the bank wouldn't even work. It was a way that you could go in there and create that little ID number to make it work again. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has challenges like that, just reach out and I will help. Like, we'll find a solution, at least for a temporary fix for you guys.
Cool.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I think we're going to end our recording on that note. Was there anything else anyone wanted to talk about online?
Yeah, real quick. Mark and I are on the Citrix Customer Advisory Board or something like that. And so we're going to Raleigh on the week of the 15th somewhere. And for a all-day panels and everything. So if anybody has any comments, wishes, complaints,
looks like you got to talk to Matt.
Lower the price.
Portals, I know, Matthew. So, hey, I'm happy to carry it to North Carolina. So, just let me know.
Easiest one is tell them to invest in customer support. But then we can talk about the rest.
Yeah, they're expensive, I know. Okay, yeah, absolutely.
All righty, everyone. We will see you same time, same place next week.
Bye. Happy New Year. Happy New Year.